That last one.
Good morning. Welcome to the hearing of the Assessment Equalization Board. Today's next hearing deals with the Ascot Parkway Improvements Project as per Resolution number 37-2020. As required by Chapter 727 of the Ohio Revised Code, I, Sarah Viviano, as Deputy Clerk of the Legislative Authority, have notified by certified mail the persons so objecting of the time and place for the hearing by the board. As Deputy Clerk of Council, I hereby call this meeting to order. The Assessment Equalization Board consists of 3 disinterested freeholders of the municipal corporation as required by Chapter 727.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Today's board members are Jim Purge, Jimmy Coleman, and Mike Harehold. The next order will be the explanation of procedure for the Law Department, represented today by Sean Bowman, Assistant Law Director. This hearing is being live streamed. Thank you.
Yes, good morning. Akron City Council passed Resolution 37-2020, declaring it necessary to improve Ascot Parkway in the city of Akron by paving, grading, constructing and reconstructing curbs and driveway approaches, and installing roof drain pipes. Having received objections to the estimated special assessments, City Council appointed this Assessment Equalization Board. The jurisdiction of the board is limited to hearing objections as to whether the property has been benefited by the improvements and whether the amount of the assessment is a proper apportionment of those benefits. The board cannot consider whether the project is necessary or revise the nature and the scope of the project or the materials used. Those determinations have been made by City Council and are binding on this board. What I am going to do now, next step in the procedure, is to swear everybody in that is participating today. I will start with the members of the Assessment Equalization Board. I think if we could get Mr. Coleman and Mr. Harehold unmuted, maybe. Okay, do you swear or affirm to faithfully execute the duties of an Assessment Equalization Board? Please signify by saying I do.
I do. I do.
I do.
Okay. Then my next people will be Teresa and Randy Kearns again. I don't know if Teresa is not muted. Randy doesn't appear to be. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give today will be entirely the truth? Please signify by saying I do. Teresa?
I do.
Randy?
I do.
All right, thank you. Now I'm going to swear in the objectors. I think actually what I'm going to do is wait until each person is called and then swear you in at that point in time when it's your turn to do your objection. So at this point, I am going to ask Teresa and Randy to explain their background in this project, their role in this project, and anything else they might feel is relevant.
Yes, good morning. My name is Teresa Herbert. I'm the city assessor. My department is responsible for the notification and collection of assessments for street improvements, which includes the annual certification to the Summit County Fiscal Office. This particular project is a 10-year assessment that would be payable over 20 installments. It's certified to the property taxes for collection. That will happen once the project is completed and final quantities are received from the Engineering Bureau. At that time, the assessing ordinance is requested by City Council to certify to the property taxes for collection. Property owners also have the option of paying the bill in full once they do receive it.
Randy?
Yes, good morning. My name is Randall Kearns. I'm with the Engineering Bureau. I am the engineer of record on the improvements for this project. Ascot Parkway improvements. The improvements include full depth asphalt replacement of the concrete aprons, partial curb and gutter replacement, some sewer repairs, and there will be a new right turn exit onto Bath Road, which is not existing at this time. Initially, we do the assessments in engineering, and once we're finished with the assessments, we send it to the assessor's office to make corrections, and then the assessor's office sends that out to the property owners.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Teresa, and if you said this, I apologize. I didn't. I don't think you addressed it, but the timing of the first, if someone were not to pay in cash and were to have it certified to the assessments, what would be the timing of the first payment?
Well, in this particular case, this is not a typical resurfacing project. This is full improvements. So that would be determined by how long it takes to do the project, because once we can't bill for it until it's completed. So, Randy, do you have any idea? Do you expect this to be done at some point next year, or the bottom line is nothing would be seen before the earliest would be 2021 taxes payable in 2022. That would be the earliest, probably.
But it could possibly be 23.
Possibly,
and then is
yes.
this a 10-year? Is this a 10-year as well?
Yes.
So
10-year assessment payable over 20 installments on the property taxes. Yes.
okay, thank you. Do the board members have any initial questions for the city folks about the project itself?
No.
No.
Okay. I am going to go just call the objectors in the order that I have them here on my paper. So I'll call by company. I think everybody has a company here, and then I will swear in the individual here to object to that objection. The first one I have is NSK Industries. I think is it Mr. Facemeyer? Is that how you say it? He's on mute. Can we unmute him? Do you have, Mr. Facemeyer, do you have a mute button that you can unmute?
Unmute now.
Oh, perfect. Okay, if you would just like to state your name, introduce yourself, and let us know the nature of your objection.
Okay, I'm representing NSK Industries. We are the third building in on Ascot Parkway. And we're the actual third company that put our site there in 1992. Since we've been there since 1992, there hasn't been any improvements done to the roads other than some cold patching in some spots. The question I have right now is how far down are you doing the improvement to Ascot?
The improvement will be the full distance all the way to the culvert or the cul-de-sac. So it'll go from State Road and extend all the way to the cul-de-sac, and then we're going to build a new exit right turn only onto West Bath Road.
So is the assessment the same on the frontage all the way down to the newer section and the older section?
The assessment rates are all consistent. Everybody is being assessed at the same rate.
Okay. I guess my objection is not that it doesn't need done, but the objection is who pays for it. We signed up for a 15-year bond. We've been there for 14 years past that bond, and the city was supposed to take care of those improvements of maintaining the road. And that was what explained from economic development when we signed our stuff. They said for the first 15 years, the tax money will go towards the land because they discounted the land. And then after that, then the money will go towards the improvements that need to be done in the community. The other thing is everyone in development pays a city tax of starting out at 2%, and it raised to 2.25% and 2.5%, and all those funds to go towards something towards the roads has not been put on those roads. And no one sends kids to those schools in that development.
Okay, do you have any of the board members, do you have any questions for the objector?
Oh, and every year I would send emails to the street department, and they always said they're going to take care of it early next year. They're going to take care of it early next year. been communicating with economic development, and they got me with the street department. And they go, we don't have funds this year, but we're going to take care of it next year. We're going to take care of it next year. And this has been going on for at least 6 years. And now, all of a sudden, you need to pay a ridiculous amount instead of a repaving amount to restructure the whole road, because the semis go in and out of the development, and that's what tears up the road. And on top of that, you get fuel tax from the semis to take care of roads. And none of that fuel tax has been put towards those roads either.
I
Okay,
have
board
I have a
member.
question. Is this, I guess, Randy, is this just resurfacing and curbs, or is it, you're not doing sidewalks back there, I would assume?
No, there are no new sidewalks going in. They do not have sidewalks at this time. The pavement is in poor condition and needs to be replaced. So we are going full depth and actually adding more stone on the sub base. So this will be a complete reconstruction of the asphalt pavement. There are sections of curb that also need to be replaced along this stretch, and that's going to be done also. And there are some sewer repairs, spot repairs that need to be done, and as well as what I mentioned earlier, a new exit onto West Bath Road that didn't exist.
So it's primarily paving, but a much better bed underneath the hole.
Correct.
Okay.
Rebuilding the whole foundation for the hospital, this repaving. Randy,
I did not understand the question.
you said you're gonna put more gravel for the foundation of the new paving?
Oh, there'll be additional sub base put in for the
Right.
On the pavement. Yes.
Okay.
So that will make it more stable as far as handling the truck traffic and so forth, I would assume.
Correct. It's currently, let me see here. It's currently, looking at the typical sections, currently 4 3/4 thick of a sub base. There's 6 inches of a bituminous aggregate base, and there's 1.25 inches. So it's currently about a 12-inch thick pavement composition. What we're going back with will be over 18 inches thick.
Okay.
So there'll be 1 3/4 inches, a 3-inch, then a 7 3/4 inch aggregate base, and then another 6 inches of limestone. So there'll be about 18 inches total pavement put down.
Okay, I do want to say one thing. First, I think I might have gotten flustered when we were trying to get you off of mute, but did I swear you in, Mr. Facemeyer?
No.
All right, will you swear to me that everything you said was indeed the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you. What I did want to say is I pulled the legislation for this project, and I think that's sent along with the objection. I could be wrong, but the estimated amount of the project itself is a little shy of $1.7 million, and the special assessments add up to about $422,000. So as far as the question goes with city funds and going to repair the roads, the city is picking up, around 75% of the cost of this project. So, Mr. Facemeyer, do you have anything else you'd like to say before I come to the next?
Have you guys, the only question I would have is of George's project, like they charge for semis for fuel tax. Has any money been applied or towards this project for fuel tax that all the semis come in and out, that's why we have the problem?
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that.
Because it's collected, you know what I'm saying? Fuel on diesels went up so much in the last so many years. They get like, I don't know how much per gallon, but I would imagine about $1 a gallon.
Yeah, I mean, and I could be wrong. I think that's a state tax, not a city tax, but
So does that have to be on a state road?
I think the city does. I'm not an expert on this, but I mean, the city may get some money from the collection of that tax, but as far as, and then in which case it would, I think, be applied to projects in general and not necessarily broken down per. But again, that's speculation on my point.
Is that something they can investigate?
Oh, certainly we can try to, I mean, we can look and get back to you on, if and what fuel tax money might be, how it might be applied.
That's all I had.
Okay. My next objector, I might put the list somewhere else. I have Applied Vision. Is that Miss Novini?
Yes, that's me.
Okay.
Good morning.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give today will be entirely the truth? Please signify by saying I do.
I do.
Okay. And if you would like to state your objection for the board.
My objection is the same as NSK. We already paying very high taxes, and the last 3 years our taxes has been increased. We are paying Cobo Falls tax, and we're paying City of Akron taxes. Applied Vision, we paid full prices for our land to City of Akron. We were promised to pay half, but we were charged for the rest after 5 years, and we paid full. And we are paying all this real estate tax. We don't see why should we pay for the road. We do need the road to be paved. It's really bad shape. We talked to the mayor, and last year he had his conferences here at Applied Vision. They patched some spots because of his meeting here, but after that, nothing has been happening. And I'm very pleased to hear that you're opening the road all the way to Bath Road. That is eliminate a lot of traffic that we are facing right now by a state road. So I know your hands is tight, and I'm pleased to hear that you're spreading this payment in 10 years, because the letter we received was not explaining the situation.
Okay. Board members, do you have any questions about this specific objection?
I do not.
I do not.
No, sir.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Next, I have Linden Industries.
Yeah, it's Bob Huey.
Yes, hi, Mr. Huey. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give today will be entirely the truth? Please signify by saying I do.
I do.
Thank you. And you may state your objection.
Okay. Applied Vision and NSK's kind of made it easy for me because I really echo the same things that they say. I don't know if any of, well, let me start with, we've been here for 24 years. Also, I've been here for 24 years, just as Greg Facemeyer's been with NSK longer than that. And I think we can both say we have never seen, except for a cold patch, maybe once or twice put on, we've never seen any maintenance done to the road. Quite honestly, just what you guys had said, that it was built with a 12-inch base and now we need an 18-inch base, kind of said there was a problem day one. And, I don't think it's fair that we have to come up with this kind of money. For us, it's a substantial amount, for something that it should have been maintained throughout. The other thing is, Randy had said to replace in sections of curb, and I agree there are some sections that probably should be replaced, but not the whole curb. But yet our assessment is for the entire 410-foot frontage, in front of our building. And our curb is fine. So, there may be one section maybe that may need to be replaced. So just to throw out and say, we're going to charge you for the entire thing, for the entire curb footage, but we're only going to replace maybe one little part of it. I think all this needs to be looked at. Does it need to be done? Absolutely. I don't know if any of the board members have driven down Ascot, but there is, and I think the other people can agree that I'm waiting one day for a very serious accident because everybody, the roads, the cold patch is such a terrible job that people lean towards driving in the middle of the road to avoid the edges because of the cold patch. And it's just going to be a matter of time before somebody messes up and there's a very serious accident. So, I mean, I agree, it has to be done. It's also, it's an embarrassment for us to have customers come down to visit us, and they come from all over the country. And the other thing is, I agree, trucks did it. 90% of our shipments are the little brown UPS truck that comes down through here. So, just to caveat, just to, hand out the cost to everybody, I don't think is right. So that's really all I have.
Teresa and Randy, can you address the curb, how curbs are assessed, and I guess maybe specifically with respect to Linden?
Yeah, the curb through there is in poor condition. There are multiple cracks, breaks, some ponding of water. There's even coal patch into a lot of that curb section. So all the curbs are going to be replaced in front of 137 as well as a number of other areas. So yeah, there are some issues with the curb in front of 137 as well as other properties. So that's why 137 is being assessed 100% on the curb.
Are all the properties being assessed for curbs then, or?
Not all of them, no.
Okay.
Just most of the ones that are towards the initial phase one have deteriorated to a point of needing replaced. And then as you move past Derby Drive going west, there is not as much of the curb sections being removed because that is in, most of it's in pretty good condition yet and not need a replacement.
Okay. Do you want to add anything, Mr. Huey, to this point?
No. Other than I'm going to go out and take a look at the curb again because I didn't think they looked that bad. So.
Do the board members have any? Oh, sorry. Go on, Randy.
There are actual patches in a lot of the, not a lot, but in a number of sections of the concrete curb and gutter. And if you look on Google Maps, you can even tell the multiple cracks and how the pavement is kind of actually patched in with the curb. So yeah, it's in bad condition.
Okay. Do the board members have any questions specifically about this?
I do not.
I don't.
Okay. And then I think our last objector is Advanced Poly Packaging.
Yes, my name is Bridget Lugaraga.
Yes, hi, Ms. Lagarde. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give today will be entirely the truth? Please signify by saying I do.
I do.
Okay, thank you. And you may state your objection. Mr. Baker's objection.
Our objection is a little bit different than everyone else's. We actually, this time last year, met with the mayor of the city of Akron, the Akron Regional Development Board, and the Better Business Bureau. In this meeting, we were trying to get incentives to buy on Ascot Parkway. We were denied any incentives to do the purchase. We already have a facility in Akron. We wanted to stay in Akron or move out of state. In the meeting, we brought up to the mayor the terrible condition of the roads, to which he replied that they had a plan in progress, but never mentioned that there would be an assessment done to our new company that just bought on Ascot Parkway. So we've only been there for a year and addressed this with the mayor, and we're never told that this would have happened. We would not have bought the property had this been told to us in the meeting. Since it was only a year ago, this plan had to have already been in progress at that meeting with all of these members. For our stance is simple that we should have been told at that meeting so we wouldn't have purchased another location in Akron. It just doesn't seem fair to have met with us, gave no incentives, not mentioned this when we specifically addressed the road, and then a year later hand us an extremely high bill for said road.
Do you remember who you met with, other than the mayor, other city representatives, like maybe from the economic development or integrated development?
I'm sure Mr. Baker has a list of the people that were present at the meeting. Myself, Paul Orrose, and Stuart were at the meeting.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you the names of the other individuals, but we have correspondence prior to the meeting. I'm sure there's a list of names. Again, Mr. Baker would have that. I do not.
Okay. And again, we can certainly, try to ask someone to get a hold of you, talk to Mr. Baker, et cetera, about those sorts of things. If, you'd like. I don't think that, those conversations or whatever, it's not necessarily what, the board is under their ability to, determine or look at or judge the veracity of, but we can certainly try to have follow-up with your
we
company.
would appreciate that very much.
Okay.
We would appreciate that very much.
Yeah, I don't know. We could get you my email, or I think we probably have Mr. Baker's, and I can try to get something put together.
Okay, that would be wonderful.
Any questions of the board from the board members?
No.
Okay. Anything in general about the project or the objections?
No.
Okay. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this, but if any of the objectors would like to say anything else before I close out the testimony, maybe raise your hand or nod vigorously or, okay. All right. Then I am going to close the testimony and I'm going to send this over to the board to deliberate and make a determination on what they would like to do with these assessments.
Well, no, go ahead, Jim.
I don't see anything much different than any of the normal objections that we hear.
No, I don't see anything any different either, because it does need to be resurfaced, and they plan on putting a little bit more foundation on it to handle the truck.
Yeah,
with the exception of the last lady, that's a bit of a sticky situation. With the exception of the last lady, I have to concur with my colleagues as far as that goes. But that it is a bit of a mess with her. I do understand though the case of Mr. Facemeyer being there so long and having guaranteed feeling neglected over time though also, but it also has to be handled.
Right.
It's going to be better and not as embarrassing to those who are embarrassed by the condition of the road.
right. And if some of these assessments I'm looking at are $30,000 a year over 10 years, $3,000 a year to get all that work done doesn't seem that unreasonable to me. But
Right. And you go benefit from it, because the one gentleman was saying about UPS trucks coming down the highway and other people coming in, it's embarrassing. So that's $3,000 a year. That's the way to get rid of embarrassment.
yeah, Yeah, I think I would decline all the objections.
Absolutely.
I agree. I know, though, it's not within our purview, but Sean and Sarah, I think you need to do a little bit of public relationing on some of these issues, though, too.
Right.
Agreed. Okay, so is that then a motion to decline the objections?
Yes,
I
sir.
believe it is.
Yes.
I get all in favor?
Aye.
Yes, I,
Okay, thank everybody for their time. I know not the result that anybody probably wanted, but thank you for your time and participating.
okay.
Yeah.
Everybody stay safe.
You stay safe.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nice meeting you, gentlemen.